Every change and improvement needed to be tested, and as it turned out, our testing did not show a big part of the issues you experienced while playing the game.
Bruh.
Although, believe me, we never ever intended for anything like this to happen.
Oh my god, guys, would you look at that? CD Projekt Red put out yet another apology. But what's up, guys? I hope y'all are having a great day today. I figured we would go ahead and take a look at this new apology video from the co-founder of CD Projekt Red himself, covering the entire Cyberpunk 2077 disaster launch. Now, I find this video very entertaining because, you know, the dude is obviously in damage control mode. This is the same dude who deemed the game ready to release on the last generation console. So, you know, this man doesn't mean a word of what he's saying. What he's really worried about has something to do with the fact, and I don't think it's really a coincidence that these two events kind of lined up, that now the stock price of CD Projekt Red has decreased basically 50% since right before the launch of Cyberpunk 2077. So basically, back in December, the stock price was sitting at around $31. Now it's sitting at around $16. So basically, this dude's net worth has gone down by about 50%, and the value of their entire company has decreased by around 50%. So the stockholders are not happy right now. So what do? You fire up the camera and do some good old-fashioned corporate damage control and try to push this narrative that, you know, CD Projekt Red, the good guys of video games, would never try to mislead customers. They would never do something like this intentionally, even though this dude made a conscious decision to put the game out in its current form, knowing full well what the problems were. So, you know, I don't really fall for this. I see a lot of people in the comment section saying, give them a chance to fix it. It's like, no, that's not how this shit works. The game should be functioning when it releases, or else you don't release it on platforms that obviously cannot run it. But you know what, man? I don't really think this needs much more introduction. Let's just go ahead and get right into this shit.
Hey everyone, my name is Marcin Iwiński and I'm the co-founder of CD Projekt. When I started CD Projekt 25 years ago, one of its founding principles was honest and direct communication with gamers.
Gaming.
That's right, man. Honest and direct conversation with us gamers. That's definitely why you went out of your way to have probably the most restrictive review process in the history of video games, where, you know, reviewers couldn't even use their own gameplay footage. Console reviews were not allowed to come out until the game had already launched, and no one could cancel their pre-orders. But please, tell us how open and honest you are when it comes to talking about your games to gamers, when, you know, you literally go out of your way to conceal the true nature of the product you expect people to go out and purchase. I mean, it's almost like you're saying one thing and doing the complete fucking opposite. Dude, I'm just shocked. I would never expect that from a multi-billion-dollar corporation. But who cares, dude? They developed The Witcher 3.
Oh, yeah!
When CD Projekt Red, the game development part of CD Projekt, was born, it added something important to that principle, the ambition to make the best games in the world. It became our mission and something that guided us up until now.
Mission failed. We'll get them next time.
Based on that legacy of genuine and honest communication, you've trusted us and pre-ordered our game. And despite good reviews on PC, the console version of Cyberpunk 2077 did not meet the quality standard we wanted it to meet.
Yeah, I think that's probably putting it a little bit lightly. It was borderline fucking unplayable. I think it's kind of ironic he was just talking about that open and honest communication when, you know, he literally went out of his way to make sure there was no open and no honest representation whatsoever of the console versions of these games. So it just really amazes me people are buying this bullshit apology, bro. Like, this is literally just corporate PR speak. And what makes it even worse is this motherfucker's about to lie straight through his teeth and try to say that they had no idea that the console versions of this game were that bad.
I and the entire leadership team are deeply sorry for this, and this video is me publicly owning up to that. Please don't fault any of our teams for what happened. They all are incredibly talented and hardworking. Myself and the board are the final decision makers, and it was our call to release the game.
I mean, I will give him props for saying, like, it is management's fault, but at the same time, you know, like you said, he made the decision to release it in its current form, and to make it even worse, you know, he's going to try to deny the fact that he knew that it was this bad when it released on console, because, you know, right now, in case you're not caught up, like, the Polish government right now, I think, is about to fine CD Projekt Red 10% of the game's revenue if they cannot fix it. Like, that's how big this shit is. Like, not only is there a class action lawsuit from shareholders, now the Polish government is threatening to take away 10% of their revenue from this game if they cannot fix it because it was misrepresented. And on top of that, their share price dropped 50%. Like, it is not looking good for CD Projekt Red right now. So, of course, you know, the co-founder of the company and board members out here doing full-blown damage control. And like I said, it's not a coincidence that they're coming out and apologizing right after all this shit starts happening. I mean, what, it's taken him a month to come out and apologize publicly?
Although, believe me, we never ever intended for anything like this to happen.
Yeah, I call complete bullshit on that. The only reason you released the game, even though you know it was broken, is because you wanted those 8 million pre-orders, as you like to brag about, in fiscal year 2020 quarter four's financial statements in order to keep your stock price up and prevent another drop due to another delay. So that's the main reason behind it. And well, if you look at the stock price today, it really didn't work out too well for you. Like I said in my previous video talking about Cyberpunk 2077, the excuse we developed The Witcher 3 only goes so far when you release a fundamentally broken video game. You know, that goodwill kind of expires pretty quickly.
I assure you that we'll do our best to regain your trust. Now I'd like to tell you how the situation looked like from the inside. Cyberpunk 2077 is huge in scope, and I'm not only talking about quests or things you see at first glance. I'm talking about a multitude of custom objects, interacting systems, and mechanics. In the game, everything is not stretched out over flat terrain where we can make things less taxing hardware-wise, but condensed in one big city and in a relatively loading-free environment.
Holy shit, dude, that's crazy. But this is where the video kind of pivots to him making a bunch of excuses.
On its own, this is a challenge, but we made it even more difficult for ourselves by wanting to make the game look epic on PCs and then adjusting it to consoles, especially old gens. That was our core assumption, and things did not look super difficult at first. We knew the hardware gap, yes, but ultimately, I think that time has proven that we've underestimated the task.
No shit.
To give you a concrete example, and the main culprit, we had to constantly improve our in-game streaming system for all-gen consoles. Streaming is responsible for feeding the engine with what you see on screen, as well as the game mechanics. And since the city is so packed and the disk bandwidth of all gens is what it is, it constantly challenged us.
In before the entire barrage of excuses in the comments of people saying, well, this game was never developed for last generation consoles in mind. Well, you know, right now, if you're playing on the next generation consoles, you're playing the last gen version of the game. The true next generation ports are not coming until late 2021. You are playing a Xbox One and PlayStation 4 game. For the majority of this game's life cycle, the only consoles that were available to develop for were the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One. There is no fucking excuse for why they released this game so broken on these consoles.
Every change and improvement needed to be tested, and as it turned out, our testing did not show a big part of the issues you experience while playing the game.
And this is where we get into those sweet little lies. Like, this motherfucker is going for Todd Howard's crown, bro. You know, releasing a completely broken video game on console. And then on top of that, telling some sweet little lies on top of it, bro. Todd Howard, you better watch your back, dude. You know, this man's gunning for you. But, you know, this dude cannot sit up here and expect anyone to actually believe this bullshit. That they had no fucking clue that the game was this broken leading up to launch on the last generation consoles. Like, this dude's really gonna sit up here with a straight face and say they never encountered issues like this on the last generation consoles and their own testing. That is a complete fucking lie, and this is why I do not understand why people are accepting this apology. This dude is a complete snake oil salesman.
As we got closer to the final release, we saw significant improvements each and every day, and we really believed we would deliver in the final Day Zero update.
Mission failed. We'll get them next time.
Now let's talk about the review process. We started sending our PC review keys in the first days of December. On launch day, December 10th, we hit the ground running with a really good start on PC. While not perfect, it's a version of Cyberpunk we are very proud of. At the same time, we're fighting for quality on all-gen consoles till the very last moment. and every extra day of us working on the Day Zero update brought visible improvement. This is why we started sending console review keys on the 8th of December, which was later than we originally planned.
Yeah, but let's just completely omit the fact that you put an embargo in place that prevented anyone from uploading a console review until after the game had already launched so that no one could see this game running on a console, and by the time they could, it was already too late to cancel your digital pre-order. Like, I'm onto your bullshit, bro. You cannot fucking pull this shit and act like you had the best of intentions in mind. Like, Jesus Christ. People are really falling for this and believing it. Like, if he was really this sincere, why is it taking him a month to put out this statement? It just really amazes me that people cannot understand the simple fact that companies do not give a shit about you. They just want your money.
This all happened while working from home with all the challenges resulting from the COVID-related restrictions.
Oh my god, another company using coronavirus as an excuse for fucking something up? Didn't see that one coming. And plus, I don't even get this excuse in this situation because you're literally just sitting on your ass at a computer. You can do that shit at home just as easily as you could at work. But I'm so sorry, guys. I forgot. We are living in truly unprecedented times here. Like, literally every single time I hear a company say the words unprecedented times, it just makes me want to, like, throw up in the back of my throat, dude. Like, it literally just pisses me off. So, you know, I will give him credit for not using that complete cringe fest of a line.
A lot of the dynamics we normally take for granted got lost over video calls or email, and we took that hit too. Now I'd like to tell you about our plans for the future and present a path for Cyberpunk 2077 on consoles and PC. We have already released 3 hotfixes improving the game, but that's just the beginning. Our ultimate goal is to fix the bugs and crashes gamers are experiencing across platforms. Please expect bigger and smaller patches on a regular basis. The first update will be dropping within 10 days, and it will be followed by another, more significant one in the following weeks.
So basically about a month or two before you actually get like a major fix to the game. Once again, really just proving that this game should have been fucking delayed or canceled on the last generation consoles.
We will of course continue to work on the game in future updates and improvements beyond that. Our big plans for supporting Cyberpunk in the long term did not change. As for the free DLCs, our initial plan was to deliver them just after the release, much like we did with The Witcher 3. We decided to focus on the most important fixes and updates first, and we'll be releasing the DLCs afterwards. Expect more information in the upcoming months. For those of you playing on next-gen consoles in back compatibility, you can still expect the free next-gen update for Xbox Series consoles and PlayStation 5 arriving in 2021. We are aiming at the second half of the year.
Jesus Christ, bro. You're looking at like a full year before the actual next generation versions of these games come out. Like, what the fuck, dude? Like, it's going to be a year from launch before you actually get like the true PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X versions of these games. So it's just more reinforcement that this game should have never been released. It should have been delayed until the spring, the summer, or maybe even the fall if necessary, because right now you completely destroyed most of the goodwill people have towards your company. They will never look at your games the same again. They will always be wondering what you're hiding, what you're not showing, and you've done irreparable damage to your company's reputation in the industry, all in order to try and keep that stock price up, which if you look at it right now, didn't really go the way you wanted it to. Like, basically, it feels like your entire game plan here was to bank off the good reputation you have with The Witcher 3 in order to literally shovel shit down people's throat and expect them to happily swallow it with the promise that eventually the game will actually be in a playable state.
I'd like to end this video by assuring you that we treat this entire situation very seriously and are working hard to make it right.
You know it's got to be killing him inside that this all could have been avoided so easily.
The guiding principles of our company are still core to what we do. We still want to make amazing games and have an open communication with you, our players. For now, our immediate focus is to work hard on making sure you enjoy Cyberpunk 2077 regardless of platform. Beyond Cyberpunk, we have many plans for the future, which we'll share more about when we're ready. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video.
And just like that, the video is over, guys. You know, I guess the key takeaway here is Cyberpunk is completely broken. This dude knew exactly what was wrong with the game, but he's gonna sit up here and act like they had no fucking clue the state that this game was in when it released, which, you know, is some major fucking cap if I've ever heard it. But, you know, I didn't really expect too much. It's a corporate apology. Of course, they're not gonna admit to anything when they have a lawsuit pending. You know, the Polish government's literally threatening to take away 10% of their revenue on the game for lying about it. I mean, it's really bad. bad for them. Their stock price dropped 50%. Like, you think about it, all these executives, like, say their only investment is in CD Projekt Red, basically they lost half of their money in a couple of weeks. Like, that's fucking crazy to think about. So, I don't know, man. It's gonna be a rough time for CD Projekt Red. It'll be interesting to see if they can bounce back from this shit. I mean, they're never getting the benefit of the doubt from me again. Like, honestly, like, I'll probably never pre-order another one of their games after this shit. And honestly, I don't think anyone else should until they at least earn that trust back, which I don't really see happening for a very long time. But anyway, guys, let me know your thoughts on this entire situation in the comments section. I'm very interested to hear your take on it. But as always, I want to thank you all so much for taking the time out of your day to check out this video and for all the recent support as well. You guys are the fucking best. I really do appreciate it, and I will catch you guys next time.